welcome back to the Convince Me podcast, where we're on a mission to convince you to step out of your gaming comfort zone and try something new. So let's get to convincing. As always, I am Darren, this is Ryan, and you may notice that we have a special guest with us today if you're watching on YouTube. For audio only listeners, we have another person here that you can super see, I'm sure. And that is because this is a bit of a special episode where this is our first episode of Convince Me Versus, where Ryan and I will have a guest on, and we try to convince them live in real time to play one of the games that we have chosen. This week, Ryan is attempting to convince not just our lovely guest here, but all of you to play Wolfenstein: The New Order, which was developed by Machine Games. And I am attempting to convince the collective to play Dead Cells, developed by Motion Twin and Evil Empire, and also published by Motion Twin. Now, we would like to take a second to introduce our guest. This is Raphael, aka Raf. Raf, if you would like to introduce yourself, please do so now.
Oh, well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Love the podcast. And I'm very honored to be a guest on the podcast. Um, I mean, as you said, name is Raphael. Um, I've been gaming for ages, though I'll leave my age out of this. But just to say, I'm a classic OG gamer.
Fair enough. So that actually ties into the segment of this episode where we want to get to know the person that we're talking to for a couple of reasons. One, anybody who's listening doesn't know you. They don't know anything about your gaming tastes, your gaming history, your gaming anything really. And it's best for them to get to know your gaming style so they can see if their views align with yours, or how they should feel about what it is you would suggest or you'd recommend. And so starting off, let's get into how we know each other. So for me, Darren met Roth through me, because we are Sunday D&D buddies. We play specifically Pathfinder 2, but we play on Sundays. We have a campaign running right now where we are scared for our life, but that's a whole other conversation. And I have known Roth for, since 2016.
16, I think.
I think 2016, where we started playing Dungeons and D&D 5th edition with our still DM. We play on Fridays, and so that's how Roth and I met. And then I brought Roth in for our Sunday campaign. And that it's the rest is history. Ruffin is a buddy that I play games with. If I ever have a co-op game that I'm interested in, Ruff is the one to play for me, and because Darren likes single player, and
I'm with you there. I'm with you.
I mean, I am too.
Single player, yeah. There's times where it's just like single player is the thing to do.
But there's something to be said about like cooperating with your friends and everything. But as far as for you, Ruff, what are some standout games that we've played in our co-op adventures?
Oh, I was just gonna bring up the one that like solidified, I would say, our bromance, if you want to say.
Sure.
Yes. It was Ghost Recon Wildlands, right? Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're gonna say too.
You gotta let me tell the story.
Go ahead.
Darren, I don't know if you know this. We were playing, and one of the objectives, and it says it clear as day, and you hate this particular thing, is you got to go in and not alert any enemies. Be
Burn
stealthy.
it down. Burn down the whole thing. Burn down the whole thing.
Oh.
Uninstall.
So we go in. I'm going in. Ryan's like, we're gonna flank. I'm gonna be here. You're gonna flank. So I'm going in. I'm just sneaking in, and I'm like taking out dudes like that. And I get to the base, and all of a sudden, flashed up on the screen, mission failed, and I was just like, what happened? And I talked to Ryan. I was like, Ryan, what happened? Like, we just failed the mission. oh my gosh, it was just so classic. All of a sudden, I just hear him, and just straight, like no inflection. He was just like, "Dog, I'm not even gonna lie. I totally forgot what we were doing." I just busted out laughing. I was like, Ryan, love you, man. Love you, because that was just so great. I just laughed for like 5 minutes.
No, even like in the rest of the game, you can go in and if you raise an alarm, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So I go in there and it's like you failed the mission. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not gonna hold you. I forgot we were supposed to be quiet. So
yeah,
that was the bird.
That was the one. That was the one. And I was like, this is my co-op gaming buddy right here.
I mean, I didn't try to come up with excuses. I was just like, hey, man, that's just what happened. But speaking of Ghost Recon, can you tell the audience a little bit about, because also Darren doesn't know, really, what are your gaming genres of choice? What are your, like, top games of all time? Where do you stand there?
Okay, so I learned this like late, just probably like a few years ago, like what my genres are, and they are action, first-person shooters, or just shooters in general, and platformers. Those are the three that I like. My all-time game, Grand Theft Auto. That is the all-time series. Like anyone comes out, I'm like, don't talk to me. I am in. I am in a bubble for the next month or two.
Anyone in particular?
Vice City, I think, is the gold standard. It's just the gold standard.
Fair
for
enough.
them. Mm-hmm.
Also, you're an '80s guy. Like you
Yes.
are real into '80s.
Yes, if you ever ride in my car, you will just be hearing nonstop '80s music. that's all I play, because the music just gets to me. I just enjoy it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. And, another one's God of War. I think that's a very close second for me. That's that one. From a platformer standpoint, Crash Bandicoot.
Hmm.
The Insane Trilogy. It got me, and that just like solidified my bond with platformers.
How did that unlocking every trophy for Crash 4 go?
So this is a good segue into what is my play style. Ryan knows this, and I think you started to know this too, Darren. I am a completionist, which means I have got to find every single thing on the map. I go to every single point, turn over every rock if I can, because I need to see 100%. I need to know I have done everything this game is possible for me to do. And I guess the epitome of that is I did find all of the Karaxes in Breath of the Wild and got the golden poop. I just went.
So I told a future guest we're gonna have is my childhood best friend, next door neighbor / basically brother. He is another Darren, basically, and I was telling him that I don't think he was aware of what the reward for doing that was. I think it was him that I told that, like, when you get all the seeds, yeah, you get a golden poop. He was like, does it do anything? I'm like, no, it's literally just a golden dookie. That's all it is. And he's like, can you do anything with it? I'm like, no, it's just golden crap. Because the thing is, you get the increased carrying capacity. You get, like, the rewards throughout finding them, but finding all of them, no, you don't get anything special. And he was just mind blown by that.
Yep, it's just a badge just to let you know that you completed it. You found every seed. It is just a marker just to let you know you did it. And everybody warned me, do not do it. They were like,
I was one of them.
Yes, you were one of them. Do not do it. There's no point in doing it. And I was just like, all right, I hear you. I will just get as much as I need to unlock everything I need, but then the itch was there. It was just like, oh, I'm finding them fast. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it because I can find these things.
Uh, Darren, real quick, can you turn your volume down a little bit? I think there's an echo coming through your end. I don't know if your headset is feeding back into your mic.
It shouldn't be.
I don't think it should be either, but I'm hearing... Ruff, are you hearing me twice?
Yes, I am.
I don't know who that's from. Is it me?
How about now?
Let's test.
No, it's you. It's you, Ryan.
Is it me from what? Give us a second. All right. And... Okay.
That's weird because I'm not getting you twice.
I don't know why anybody would be.
I'm not hearing you twice now.
Oh, is that good?
Oh, say
There
again.
it was. No, it's there.
Is there? Is it me?
No, because I don't hear him twice at all. I don't hear anybody twice.
I don't know what it would be.
Are you
Oh,
still
I
like
think-
playing? Like, are you still in the same setup that you were when you had Lazarus on?
No, it's just the screen share.
Mm.
It's fine. We'll test.
Good.
All right. Well, I mean, whatever. I don't think it's that big a deal. All right. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. So, yeah, I mean, Ruff, is there anything else that you like? What is your like schedule like as far as time you have to play games and things like that?
Oh, well, I did want to get back. If you don't mind, I would
Yeah.
go back to answer your question about the Crash Bandicoot 4. Sadly, I did not because the last thing I need to do is to get the platinum trophies, and then for some reason in that game, they changed it up. So like in the Insane trilogy, when they released those, and you can start going for the platinum relics. They gave you speed shoes, and to do the speed shoes, all you need to do was just hold down one button and you just run through and whatnot. But in Crash 4, they changed it up to some triple spin is the way you need to go faster in the level. And I tried that, I could not get it, and it just annoyed me. And I was like, you know what, 102%. It's fine enough for me. So yeah, so I did not get all the trophies in Crash Bandicoot 4. But as far as time, I'm sad to say is I don't have much time anymore. I'm rarely getting into games. Don't get me wrong, I still love games and I try to find as much things I can, but with work and then all like extracurriculars, like my bowling league that I'm in, the D&Ds that it's nights that we
Yep.
do, it is hard to find time to get in. But when I do, I am locked in and I have so much fun. Like I said, I try to find as much time as I can to get some gaming in at least once a day because it's just there. It's one of my passions.
Yeah. How about if you had to average out your time per week? What would you say your hours per week are?
If I had to average it out, I would probably say 5 hours
A week?
a week. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
That's
I know
better
it's
than
sad.
nothing.
That's sad. It's sad. It really breaks my heart because there was a time like it was like school and then it was just games. I was just gaming until I had to go to bed, and
Those are the days.
yep, those were the days. Those were the days.
To that end, actually, that'll bring us to our question of the week. And we'll just go ahead and start with you, Raf. What game would you say have you spent the most time playing? Just ever.
Not series.
Oh,
Singular
oh my-
game.
Singular game. Oh my gosh. So this actually brings up an interesting point. It is hard for me to judge that because as a completionist, every game I'm doing, and it's sad because Ryan, he like tags me or something, like I don't know. It's like he chipped me. He comes in, he's like, "So Raphael, I see you put in 300 hours into this game." And such. So like yeah, so like I know like Elden Ring, I put in over 350 hours, and that's including Shadow of the Earth Tree DLC. I think Breath of the Wild is pushing 300. So it's kind of hard for me to like actually pinpoint which one I played the longest. But yeah, it would probably be one of those two if I had to really guess.
Like in your life,
In my life,
including
because
like multiple playthroughs of older games and all that. You think?
oh gosh, multiple. Well, because multiple. See, here's the thing about multiple playthroughs. If I replay a game, since I know everything, it would just be. I would just speed rush it because I just know where everything is.
Sure.
And typically, I will only complete the game one time. Like, so for instance, Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5, actually. Sorry, Grand Theft Auto 5. I the first time I played through, I went through and I tried. I did everything. I replayed the missions because they gave you medals for if you completed the certain objectives and in certain amount of time and
Yeah.
everything. So the first time I played through, I think that was probably like pushing 250 plus on the hours. But then the next time I played through, I didn't care about getting gold medals or whatnot. So I was just trying to just play through the game. So
Sure.
yeah, so I would probably say probably like Elden Ring would probably be the longest game I've playtime I've had.
Fair enough.
Just
I think
because
that's-
you know how annoyingly that game is when you hit a boss and you just get murked in one shot.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Dan and I have this philosophy. It's the strangest thing. Where there have been times where we're playing the same game, right? And one of us will get further than the other person just by virtue of time. And without fail, don't know what it is. The person who's further ahead will like prep the other one for like an upcoming fight or event or sequence in the game. And I'll be like, yo, Darren, like, dude, I'm this, like, for example, Commander Gaius in Elden Ring, right?
Oh.
Dude drove me up a wall. Just made me so mad. And I'm like, Darren, I'm just telling you, like, he was fairly cakewalking the rest of the people comparatively, right? And so I'm like, dude, this Commander Gaius, dude, he's different, man. He's different. And then I hear from Darren a few days later, and he's like, yeah, he gave me no trouble. And I'm just like, how? And then
Three
Darren will do the same thing. He'll be like, oh, this event from this game or whatever, and I'll just be like, I didn't have that much trouble. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a mental preparation thing or what, but like we inevitably have this thing where what's hard for one person will be easy for the other and vice versa. I don't know why.
I get that. Now, with
But-
Elden Ring, it could be because Elden Ring is class dependent. Like whatever how you do your build. Maybe
Right.
whatever Darren's build, it was tailored for Commander Guys. And because I know with me, I think 2 times with Commander Guys.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
To be fair, though, it is also without fail that Ryan and I will play the exact same game. We will attain the exact same level of completion, and Ryan's playtime is like 25 hours less than mine for some reason. And
Okay.
that, honestly, is the purest encapsulation of why I don't play co-op games with him. Because for whatever reason, and I
No.
take my time, I
no,
look around,
no,
I
no.
do the equivalent of smell the flowers.
Thank
No.
you.
You know, I'm gonna break open everything. I'm
Okay,
gonna open
no.
every box.
Ryan,
Roth, no,
Darren,
no.
Darren.
No.
Thank you. You've
No.
given me the one thing with playing with Ryan that it is. You're right. I'm like, let's explore it here. Pew! Ryan just takes off, and all of a sudden
Okay.
I'm just like, we're in the next encounter, and I'm just like, oh my god, let me rush over to
No.
get up there. Yes,
No.
yes.
Do I play
Yes.
fast? Yes. However, what you can't say is, Darren, that you get more completionage percentage.
No,
than
I said it's
do.
exactly the same.
That's what's mind blowing. Is I will find the secrets. We will get the same amount of percentage of completion, and I just play less time. So it's not like I'm missing stuff. I'm finding everything I need.
Yeah, but see, in games like Borderlands, where you can get legendary out of a dung pile, and you don't open every dung pile, it kills me.
Yep.
Kills me. You're like 3 screens ahead, waiting at the warp point, but it says you can't do it because he's currently in a combat or has a menu open. And so I keep opening the menu every time I hear that you're about to do it because I'm like, nope, I'm not done yet. And so it cancels your travel every time. And so it just, I won't do it. I got stuff I gotta open. I gotta find it. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah.
And when your loot drops are RNG based, everything you miss is potentially the best weapon in the game. You don't know.
Exactly.
So to that end, Ryan, what's your most played game?
Elden Ring.
Is it?
Absolutely. It's not even close. Elden Ring, I'm pretty sure I have over 300 hours as well. Granted, that's not just one character. That's 2
I think you have 3.
No, maybe 3. I've beat the game. I got to New Game Plus 5 with my main character. I think it was maybe 6. And then the other 2 I beat it with once or twice. But my samurai, my first ever character, has the most time, like 200 something hours. And before anybody asks, yes, I got all the trophies. I got the platinum for Elden Ring. I did everything. Okay? Did I find every single weapon and every single incantation, every single armor set? No.
Now,
You think you found every last armor set? No.
Armor maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know how obtuse some of the things you have to do are to find everything? There's no way that you did every single obtuse thing in that game.
Most of the stuff I haven't found at this point is rare drops, just because I don't have the patience to bang my head up against the same enemies over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
And then respawn the
Same.
world.
Same.
That's how I am. Like, I only have 1 magma blade when I really want 2 magma blades, you know? Stuff like
I
that.
have like 3 of those, I think. But anyway,
you
Darren, what is yours?
I don't know. And that is because there's 2 games that I have played across so many iterations on so many consoles that I honestly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, don't know if it's Skyrim or Borderlands 2.
It's not.
But
Skyrim.
it is one of the... I don't know, man. I have played Skyrim on every console.
You've also played Borderlands 2 multiple iterations, multiple times.
It's true, on every console.
On
So, like,
every
Borderlands 2,
console.
it would make the most sense, but the amount of time on any single Skyrim playthrough is typically longer than the amount of time on any single Borderlands playthrough.
And yet you've got
So I
multiple
would not be...
characters
Yeah,
through the game.
I would not be surprised if both of those games total 1,000 hours or more for me. Easy. I don't know which one is more. Borderlands 2 makes the most sense, but I won't count Skyrim out just because it's so old.
Your in-between game is Borderlands 2. Like, when you're just like, I
It
don't know what to play.
was Borderlands 2. It is now not Borderlands 2.
It is Borderlands 3.
And also Borderlands 1.
So we know your highest played series.
Oh,
But in
yeah.
the individual
Well,
game-
because then Pokemon gets involved, and I don't know, man.
I was gonna say, I know Pokemon is your.
Okay.
And Pokemon's
that's
been around for so long.
That's fair.
So long, and then if you
That's
throw
fair.
in the competitive part of it, which I was doing for a long time on things like Pokemon Showdown, I don't know, man. Or we could even go one step further, and we could say Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is the game I've put the most time into, and that's a mobile game, or it was a mobile game, and I played that game for 8 years every single day.
Okay,
So,
that's fair.
mean-
I think it's Brave Exvius.
I mean, that would make the most sense, right? But if we're talking about games, it's probably either Borderlands 2 or Skyrim. It has to be one of those two. But Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, because again, every single day logged in for 8 years, played at least 2 hours a day.
Jeez, dude.
That's
All right,
just there was
well,
that much. There was just that much stuff to do. Even with
I
like
think-
just doing your daily stuff could take that long. So I mean, I don't know. So I'll do some quick math. Let's do some quick math.
While he
Why
does
not?
that math, I will. Speaking of your interests, Rock. you said
5,840 hours, give or take.
Wow.
that- All right, yeah, no, I think that wins.
Yeah.
Minimum.
You get a comment in the number.
I think you would.
Yeah.
Baroff, you said that one of your preferred genres was shooters
Yes.
and action.
Yes.
And the game I would like to pitch you today hits both of those.
Okay.
Hits both of those. The game I am pitching to you today is called Wolfenstein: The New Order, by Machine Games, who really do the new Wolfenstein games and also the new Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game that is currently available on Game Pass. But it is a first-person shooter. That have you ever heard of Wolfenstein? Like, are you familiar with like Wolfenstein back on? I think it might have been MS DOS, but the old Wolfenstein I think would have been classified as a boomer shooter, like Doom, like the original
Okay.
Doom. But it is the point of the game is to kill Hitler. That's the final goal. Are you familiar with like those Wolfensteins at all?
So I've heard of Wolfenstein. I'm not too familiar with any of like storyline or plot. For some reason, I want to say it's like you said, it's like Nazi zombies. That was my impression of it. But
Well,
I
in the
may be
new
wrong.
one, there are no zombies, but there are Nazis.
Yeah.
And the premise is that you are BJ Blazkowicz, and you are a resistance fighter trying to stand up to the German regime. And what happens is you are trying to find this person called General Death's Head to basically stop Germany from winning World War II. And in the opening mission, you're going around practicing your gunplay, doing all those things. And when you get to this area, something happens. I'm not going to spoil the story for you, but something happens to BJ, and he is knocked out, knocked unconscious, and time passes. And when he wakes up or is more aware of his surroundings, you find out that so many years have passed. A lot of years have passed, in fact. And upon waking, you find out that Germany won World War II. Germany won World War II by nuking New York, causing America to surrender. So it is one of my low-key favorite genres. My absolute top-tier favorite is fantasy, but alternate history fiction fantasy is also up there for me because it's so interesting to think about how different things could be if like just we branched into another timeline of just that's my little spiel about alternate history. But upon waking, you find out that Germany has won, and the goal of the game is for you to rebuild a resistance to hopefully re-overthrow the German regime that is now running the world, basically. And so the gameplay is not your typical shooter. So when you think shooter, Rough, what do you think? Where does your mind go when you think of like a story-based shooter?
Okay, so for me, well, in particular with Wolfenstein, I think it makes me track back to Call of Duty, kind of.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pretty straightforward war simulator,
Yeah.
running through busting bad guys and making your
Yeah.
way.
Hit objective. You got objectives. You got to get to. Yeah.
Okay, so this game has that. However, there are alternate routes to tackle things in different ways. So, for example, you could play like Darren, run a gun, boom, 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 blast the bad guys, and you got plenty of ammo to do it.
Oh,
And it has the Doom system where you have your health and your armor. Your armor gets taken away first before your health does. You find bits of armor and health to restore. You get weapons. You can dual wield pretty much every weapon. You can dual wield assault rifles, pistols, everything. But there are also routes that if you explore enough, you can find a way to sneak up on the Germans and take them down quietly without alerting if you want. So that is an option. There are also collectibles and they're gold items that you can find, and environmental storytelling, like notes that you can find that expand the lore of the world that you're in, which that lore, that the lore that I found in the world is what tells you how the Germans won the war. So you get as much detail as you're willing to search for. And there's also something called Enigma codes, and when you find enough of them, you can use them to unlock different ways to play the game. So where I got to, I hadn't found enough Enigma codes. I don't think I hadn't really tried, but I don't think I had enough Enigma codes to alter. I don't think, but it changes the way you play. So there is a completionist aspect to it where you can find these Enigma codes, and then you can play the game again in a different way. So you have this hub where you are, where you're the resistance are. You can explore this hub. There's different collectibles to find there, and it came out in 2013, I believe, and it is some of the tightest feeling gunplay that I have felt. And what's crazy is that it holds up 12 years later, which blows my mind that it holds up that well. And it is available on PS Plus. You can download it on there. But yeah, it is fast-paced, frenetic gameplay. There's also a perk tree that you get new skills in by playing certain ways. So, for example, you can increase the damage of your headshots by getting headshots with certain weapons. You can also increase your weapon swap speed by doing certain things with certain weapons. So if you do a certain amount of takedowns, you increase something for there. So it encourages you to play different ways to unlock the perk tree, so that way you can increase the amount of ways that you want to play. So the gameplay loop is pretty much, you have this objective you need to get to. On your way there, explore these different pathways it's not linear. Like, story-wise, it's linear. It's pretty A and B, but the way you get there is however you want to do it. There's no one way to play, which I like because it encourages replayability, which is always good, especially when you consider that with the price of games going up, which we'll talk about later, you want to get the most bang for your buck. And in a campaign it's a shooter campaign that's not going to take you super long, increasing replayability is what you're shooting for. So that is the general gist of Wolfenstein: The New Order. There is a sequel called The New Colossus that continues this story. But yeah, any questions about Wolfenstein that you have?
Okay. So it brought me interesting. What was interesting to me was the multiple ways to play, and that is like, so the thing with me with that is, what is the preferred method? So like you said, you can go in stealth or you can go in running shooting. Is the game designed for me to go in gun shooting, and that's the way I'm going to play it? Or is the game designed, we want you to be stealthy?
It is designed for you to play whatever way you choose.
And that is awesome. Because I would probably be like, you know what? I like that beat more so because if I do stealthy route and then something just goes bad, all right, then, just go loud and there's no consequences for it.
What I will say is the game has a ton of difficulty options. So I looked at the trophy list for the game, and the highest difficulty, less than 1% have gotten that trophy on PlayStation on the highest difficulty. So what in my opinion, those alternate routes of sneaking up on enemies on the highest difficulty, you want to have as few enemies to fight as possible. So the
Yeah.
sneaking routes allow you to take out enemies quietly, so that way you have less to fight when the fights actually start.
Okay.
Because like on the lower difficulties, whatever, go and shoot, doesn't matter. One guy ain't gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
The one enemy to be aware of, there are lots of kinds. There's like armored dogs, there's mech
Okay.
suits basically, there's regular soldiers, and then there are, I want to say commanders. My brain is full of so many things. Commanders who, if they see you, they will ring an alarm that will alert and bring more people. So you have to try and kill them before they can call people. So that's another thing. A lot of the sneaking routes take you to them. Whereas if you were to proceed through the level normally, they'd see you enter the room unless you time it well. But the sneaking route, you pretty much get the auto drop on
Okay.
them.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That does make a lot of sense. One thing about like how is like the game like I said, I'm leaning back on Call of Duty where it's just like chaos is abounding. Like you might be focusing on these group of guys, but there's like bombs and everything else going on. Like how like frantic do you get? Like you know what I'm saying? It's like
Sure.
you're going through like I'm going through trying to take down objectives, but it's just like any minute now some sniper might take me out because that's just
So
how it is.
there, in the first scene of the game, you are in an airplane that crashes, and you have to swim around because your allies are stuck, and you're in a battle zone. Bombs going off, gunfire everywhere, turrets firing. So your initial introduction to the gameplay is a war zone where stuff is just popping off. Now, is that every set piece? No. But there are moments like that in it.
All right. Are there like boss type characters that you just like and
Moments
get?
where you're not going to see like a health bar pop up or anything, but there are
Yeah.
definitely enemies where you have to use your resources to take them out.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
the weapons I've seen are pistol, auto fire pistol, so like a machine gun pistol basically, shotgun, assault rifle, sniper, and that's the main ones I'm recalling. There's also a laser tool that you can use to cut fences that help you find alternate routes,
Gotcha.
which is super fun.
All right. Nice. All right. So yeah, the alternate routes is like so it is like a little bit of exploration of like if you go over here, you might find a route.
Yeah, you'll find enigma codes, you'll find gold, you'll find
Yeah.
lore of the world. You're rewarded for searching around.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That sounds good. The okay, so the Enigma code. You saying that just makes me kind of reminds me of GoldenEye, where it was like GoldenEye. You run through the level at you complete all the objectives in the level in a certain time. You unlock a cheat code for that level, and it was just like you said, like you turn on the cheat, and then all of a sudden, like the game, like DK mode
Change.
with the big head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
classic. Big
Oh
head
yeah.
mode.
Oh yeah.
Classic. Um, but yeah, so before Darren gets to pitch you his idea, I mean, is there anything else you want to know, or because it is a shooter. It's straightforward. Like it's there's nuance to what it is because of the political like plot of it being inherently about Germany winning, but like as far as gameplay goes, it's like, yo, go kill dudes, get new weapons, unlock perks, find things in the world, explore.
No.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's a shooter. It's like we're a shooter. We're not trying to be anything else. This is a shooter. This is what you looking for in a shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. So, Darren, your turn.
Okay. So, before I get going, a couple things. Do you recall in a previous episode where we discussed the differences and like what the terms are for roguelike and roguelite style games?
Yes, I do. And let me correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so rogue like is permanent death. Like you got to run through, and it's permanent death if you die. And then rogue light Oh, I'm mixing up the terms. Apologies if I am. It's the one where it changes every time you do the run through.
So they both change most of the time.
Yeah.
The big key difference, for the sake of the example that we're giving now, is with the rogue light, the things that you potentially unlock or progress during your playthrough become permanent unlocks.
Gotcha.
Okay, that is a very key point to this game, because what Dead Cells has been described as is a Roguevania. Are you a Castlevania fan?
I have never played Castlevania.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. All right. So, as you, as somebody who potentially likes platformers, that might be just something that's fun for you in general, but this isn't about
fair.
that. Castlevania, 2D platformer side scroller. You have a variety of weapons, a variety of objectives. Ultimate goals, you're basically trying to beat Dracula for some of them. It's other things for others. You basically play as Dracula's son. There's a lot to it. Dead Cells, you are, in fact, a blob of cells. That the first thing they show you is you just drop out of this drain. You roll your little dead cells over. You inhabit this corpse on the ground, and there's your character. And you are met with this, oh, you're back again, huh? Even though it's your first time playing. Go ahead, try to get out of here. Most people die, but for whatever reason, you don't stay dead. And you go. And all you start off with is a single weapon. I actually think it's called like a rusty sword or something is what it is. And so your early combat tutorials, right? You have a roll, which is super important because this game is difficult. It's safe to say. It is a very skill-based action side-scrolling platformer that is also a roguelite. So your whole game is contingent upon doing runs. Throughout the runs, however, you unlock weapons. Like, so enemies will drop weapons, and now that weapon is yours, and you have to choose because you have your two main weapons, which are mapped to either X or Y. X, for me, just because it's the way I like to play, X is my melee, and I'll put Y as like a range. However, their basic weapon types, you have melee, you have a shield, or you have a range, like bow, gun type of weapon. Map them however you like. There are also 3 corresponding stats. So you have brutality, you have, and I had to look this up so I didn't misstate it, tactics, and you have survival. So red is brutality, tactics is purple, green is survival. The weapons and drops that you get are more often than not one color, but some of them are 2. And so as you progress through your runs, you find these scrolls that let you get a level up in either brutality, tactics, or survival. Some of the scrolls let you do one of all 3. Like, you choose between all 3. Some of them only give you a choice between 2. And so the build as you progress through the runs is, okay, am I doing a brutality run? Am I doing a tactics run? Am I doing a survival run? From what I've seen, a lot of the survival stuff tends to be more towards, like, temporary hit points, the ability to freeze enemies that you fight. Tactics, I've seen, has a lot more as far as, like, a lot of more stuff at range. Bleeding seems to be part of it, as does electrocuting. Brutality is pretty much exactly what you expect it to be. There's just big damage, big numbers, big booms, fire, poison is one of them as well. And as you level up those stats, so when you pick up one of those weapons that's a split stat, it'll be like, let's say it's half brutality, half tactics, right down the middle. But as you level up brutality more, it grows more and more towards the brutality side, and so it just becomes more powerful with you. Other weapons you pick up are colorless and will automatically become the color of whatever your highest stat is, which means it more often than not becomes your best weapon outright. But your goal as this bundle of cells inhabiting the corpse, is to just escape from the castle prison that you're in. And so there's boards that you progress through, and you are completely Shadow of Ward as soon as you start your run. Right, so you have to explore every room where there's enemies, there's doors you can break, there's keys that you have to find. Right? And as you progress and you get deeper and deeper into your runs, you unlock NPCs that are in your little basey area. And so one of them gives you the ability to get costumes for your character to just wear as your run for fun little flavor. One of said costumes is the Reverse Burglar. And if I told you that it's the Reverse Burglar, what would you think that costume would be?
That feels like police.
Santa Claus, but that's
Santa.
that's not too far off. Right? It's the opposite of robbing, is it's just giving to people.
Okay.
You know, but it's stuff like that, right? There's a Shovel Knight costume, which is super super fun, and that kind of brings me to the next thing is the games in this style. There have been a lot of games in this kind of style lately. This 2D indie developed, like kind of hard but very rewarding style games. So these games include things like Hollow Knight. There's other games of similar ilks, Transistor. There's, oh gosh, I'm going completely blank. But all of these games, in a lot of ways, they get a lot of love from this game to the point where they are directly referenced in a tome right in your starting area. So some of these games that have had some crossover type things, or there's like the sword, which is just a nail from Hollow Knight. There's a boot called the Spartan Sandal, which the weapon attack is exactly what you think it is, and you literally Spartan kick people through walls, off of platforms. It's incredible. It feels really good.
Yeah.
But there's like games like Guacamelee, there's Blasphemous, Slay the Spire, Shovel Knight, Terraria, Hotline Miami has some stuff in here. There's art on the walls from games like Dark Souls. There's literally a picture of Solaire going and praising the sun on one of the walls. There's the shield from Zelda just randomly throughout. There's a picture of 9S and 2B on one of the walls from Nier Automata. So it's just this glorious collection. This game is almost like a love letter to games as it is right now. And it looks like, of the development team, it feels like every one of them had a game that they liked that now has some influence in the game. So you go in and you're going through these runs and you're trying to progress further and further, and you're unlocking other things. You can change your head, of course, because if you have costumes, of course you have heads you can change. But you unlock other charms that you can do. You find hidden rooms with keys that let you unlock things further into runs as you get deeper in. You unlock these powers that let you interact with the map specifically, that give you access to other areas of the map to find more new things. And for you, as somebody who really likes to complete, every time you die and you start over, you first walk through an area and there's all these scientific vials hung up on the wall. And that is where you can see every single weapon that you've unlocked. And you unlock the ability to retain some of the currency that you earn as you progress through, because there's like merchants and stuff you can buy from. You can it costs 1 coin, and you can pull up these binoculars, and you can just literally look at every single weapon that you've unlocked. So it gives you a physical indicator of how much of the game you've unlocked, including the outfits, including the powers, because those are the other things you can do. So X and Y, right? But then your triggers also do things. And so those are your basic powers. They have cooldown timers of anywhere between 4 and 15 seconds, if I recall. Those also progress with you in terms of brutality, tactics, and survival. Some of them you can get some real disgusting combos together where you can, because some weapons will roll with other stats to them as well. So like bonus damage to a frozen enemy. You can pick up a grenade that will almost always freeze somebody, including bosses. Bosses are not immune to frozen, they just stay frozen longer. So you can have a whole freeze and break build that you progress through. And if you didn't like how that play style felt for you, okay, if you happen to find those items in your next run, don't use them. Right? The variability in how you want to progress with your play style through the runs, every single one of the melee weapons feels different. So you have assassin's daggers, which literally do more damage if you attack someone from behind. So at that point, you want to roll behind somebody, attack them, and it does crazy damage to them. And it feels good to one-shot things, especially deeper into your runs. You have actually weapons that you can get blueprints from killing bosses. The very first boss that you come across, this isn't particularly spoilery, will drop something, I believe, it's like a hammer weapon called Flint. And if you hold the attack button and release it, it hits a line of fire in both directions from you, and any enemies on the ground will get hit by that fire line, which is one of the things that boss does to you just to ruin your day. It's a game that feels good to get good at. And you can see every single unlockable you get. As your home dungeon expands, there's more powers that you can have access to. You collect cells from enemies that you fight, which is a whole separate other currency, and that's what lets you unlock your permanent upgrades. And so you get a health flask that lets you X number of times as you unlock the health flask restore a certain amount of health, which obviously for games like this, that's a big deal. You gain the ability to retain some of your money when you die. And so you can retain some of the progress you've made in runs, which means if you go find a merchant, straight away you're good to go buy something that's just better. When you unlock blueprints, you have to spend those cells on basically creating the item so that it becomes available in all of your run. And the fun thing is with that, if you make an item and you try it and you use it and you hate it, you can turn off that item showing up. So nothing ever feels like it was wasted, because you can make it so that the things that show up are always things that you like. It just may not fit your build, so you may still pass it by. Right, so it gives you so much variability with the way that you can play. For someone now who says he doesn't have a lot of time, most of the runs that I was doing, and when I was progressing pretty far, and again, I spend a lot of time trying to find everything on a board. A lot of my longest run I ever did was 45 minutes, and I really shouldn't have died. It was my own damn fault. But it was about 45 minutes is what I did. The fun thing is, when you clear a board, you're brought to an in-between where you can restore your health, fill up your health flask again, you can spend some of the currency you have. However, there's mini objectives that you complete. So for some of them, if you clear your board in a certain amount of time, you get access to a special room that can give you an item that's very beneficial, and it's different every time. If you defeat 60 enemies on that board without taking any damage, another door will unlock. Sometimes there's one door, sometimes there's two. So there's incentives to clearing boards in certain ways, but then they also have diverging ways you can go. So early on, you can either go up into ramparts or you can go down into sewers. The sewers obviously have a lot of poison liquid and poison dealing enemies, whereas the ramparts just don't jump off. Make sure that there's actually something underneath you when you're landing. Right, so there's a lot of variability in play. The average player clear time, like for a playthrough to beat the game and clear the final boss, is 14 hours. But if you want to collect everything, you're looking at somewhere between, their estimate is between 71 and 90 hours, possibly more, depending on your play style and how you want to do it. And every single time you upgrade it, one of those scientific vials right at the beginning is filled, and it feels good to see them get bigger. All the while you feel like you're getting better, you're killing enemies faster, things that used to bother you don't bother you anymore. So it's got that very rewarding progression, like a Souls-like would.
Mm-hmm.
The bosses are not, I would say, not as punishing as Hollow Knight if you've played Hollow Knight, but they're not a cakewalk either, unless your build is just specifically the antithesis of that boss, which you won't know until you play through for a while. So there's just so much to do, and what I found is that I would pick my controller up, because I get home at almost 9 p.m. I'd pick my controller up, I'd do a run, I'd put it down, and then I'd be good for the day. So it gives you that time, but every run you're making, unless you just tank your run, you're making progress towards that inevitable goal. The combat feels good, your roll feels good, the weapons all feel pretty different. And it's fun to find new ones, because when a rare blueprint drops, it like has this glowing red aura, despite it being a very pixely based sprite game. So think again like your HD 2D pixel style game. That's exactly what it is. It's super cool. It was a lot of fun. I've wanted to play this game for a long time. This just gave me the perfect opportunity to do it, and it felt good. Any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions?
No. I think you did a great job in explaining every nuance of the game, and what it gives me, and this actually scratches kind of like an itch that I've always had. Is it kind of sounds like Metroid to me? And
Oh wait, you really like Metroid.
yes, and it sounds like Metroid. And
So basically, there is a style of game that this game is. So he said Vania. The other half that people normally include in that is Metroidvania,
yeah,
because Metroid and Castlevania have similar styles of like blocked maps where you go to unlock it. Yeah, so Metroid and Castlevania are very similar styles in that. So yeah, this is a Metroidvania.
oh yeah, no, yeah,
A rogue Metroidvania.
Soon as you said Fog of War, Shadow of War, and Keys, I was like, oh, that's me. Anytime when I gotta go, I gotta go find the key to unlock this area. That's like, oh, that's me. Like, I have to go to that. If I have to get a key to go in there, then that means there's something for me to go get.
And there is nothing, because I feel like you and I are probably similar in this way. There's nothing more frustrating than finding an area that you know you can explore, but you haven't unlocked the ability to do the thing that lets you interact with the map to explore it yet.
Yeah.
So it rewards continuous runs, because when you find those things, like the first one that you find is the ability to interact with these little sprouts so that they grow straight up and you have a climbing vine. There are so many places that opens up for you straight away that were so rewarding to find, that every time I found another one after that wasn't that power, because for some reason I never found the next power, I just didn't put enough time in to do it, I was so angry every single time. I'm like, I don't understand. I explored everything that I thought I could explore, which means, did I miss something? Well, now I have to go back and do it again. But the map is different every time, so it's just...
Yeah, that's a great style of game. Is the new ways to explore, to get to areas you couldn't. That's a good style. So with that said, Roth, this is the part of our episode where the guest, even if the guest is interested in choosing both, which is possible, the guest must choose which one they would like to do first. There is no both here. There is one game that has to be chosen. No political answers here.
No. Absolutely not. I do not do that. If you give me the objective of like one or the other, I will do that.
All right, Raf. For our first ever Convince Me versus, who convinced you more?
You know, Ryan, it was really good. Like playing the I mean,
that's the political
really
answer right there.
No. It's really good, and I like, you know, shooters. I haven't, you know, that's one thing. I haven't played an actual shooter in a long time. It's like right now you were talking about like games these days. Like majority of the games I see, at least the ones that interest me, are RPG, you know, RPG based, and so I'm like, when's the next good shit? Because like I was just thinking about this earlier this week, where the last great shooter I had was Modern Warfare to me, because I'm like, because it felt like after Modern Warfare with the Black Ops and what was their other one,
There
Call
have
of
been
Duty.
6 Black Ops, man.
Yeah, but it's all like focusing on multiplayer, you know, multiplayer gaming, and I'm like I said, like what Darren said, like when it came to like Modern Warfare, it was like you can play that solo, and like the story was just, it was crazy and wild, but it was a fascinating story.
We are in agreement that Black Ops, the first Call of
Black
Duty,
Ops
Black Ops
1
had the best story of a Call of Duty. We will stand by that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I can't recall if I ever did, but I gotta give it to Darren. As I said, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan.
Right.
I think you were done as soon as he said the Shadow of War and Keys. I mean,
if that's what you're into, that's fair.
As soon as he said
fair.
that to me, I was like, I was like, that
So-
I gotta play that.
Suffice it to say, you're interested in both, but you would play Dead Cells first.
I would play.
Don't
that
make yourself
first.
feel better.
Oh no, no, I'm saying it seems, because what I don't want, I would feel bad if he wasn't convinced to try it at all. That's what I'd be upset about. But if he is, at least if it's on his radar, I consider that a win.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
on there.
Darren will take
Yeah.
the first Convince Me versus. Congratulations, sir.
Shing.
All right.
+1.
We'll put a little.
Put up the scoreboard.
don't show the scoreboard.
Darren wins.
Yes, yes. I will be there for it. I'm all for that. Yeah, it should definitely have a scoreboard that pops up every time.
I just need a whiteboard right here.
Yep.
But yes, it seems like we have our first winner. But with this next segment, this is where things are going to get very interesting. So earlier, I mentioned pricing of games and everything. And Raf, are you familiar at all with the Switch 2's announcement and anything that was brought out like earlier this week?
So I didn't have a chance to watch any of the Nintendo Direct. Only thing I really saw was like, oh, they're coming out with, they're launching it with the new Mario Kart World.
Okay.
That was it.
So, as someone who has no idea, this will be interesting to get your thoughts. So the Direct came out, and it was awesome. There were some really, really interesting games, like Bravely Default Remaster. I'm so excited for. They said that another SMT game is coming out. Mario Kart World looks awesome. Lots of really interesting games. There was a sizzle reel of a bunch of stuff that got people really, really excited. And
Elden Ring is coming to Switch too.
Elden Ring is coming to Switch too. And they showed the date, June 5th this year.
Okay.
2 months.
Yeah, that's coming up fast.
And what was absent, Raf, was the price of the console. They didn't show it. Typically, when you're doing a direct or a presentation about a brand new console, you want to tell your audience the price. So after the presentation, after people were running off the high of the direct, they revealed the pricing of the games and the console.
Okay.
Darren.
So the console, which mind you is when docked, it's capable of full 4K HDR. I think 120 frames per second. For certain games, that's right. It is going to launch at $450. So for a modern console at 4K, okay.
It's not Nintendo's MO.
It is not.
Oh, no.
But in the annals of how much more powerful it seems to be than the original Switch, okay. However, the games were shown to be, many of the physical copies of the games were shown to just be a card that you put in that gives you access to a key to download the game digitally.
Okay.
The digital only versions of the game, this is specifically Mario Kart World, $80. The physical copy was $90. Oddly enough, if you bought the bundle of the console with the game, you actually saved $30 on the game, which is interesting math-wise. But they have now shown their hand and set the precedent for AAA first-party titles to be an $80 digital, $90 physical copy. And as soon as that happened, we all heard and smelled and sound and just observed Rockstar in the background going,
Just rubbing their hands together.
for that $100+ GTA 6 sneaky announce, and it's coming. And so where the downfall of the hype after this direct should truly be studied.
Astronomical.
People took to social media to absolutely blast this from Nintendo to the point, and now obviously more things have come out that whatever tariffs, blah blah blah. Now in the United States they won't even open it for pre-orders. They're still aiming for the same launch time, but so now we won't even have the ability to pre-order.
The pre-orders were supposed to open this Wednesday. They have now been delayed. I don't think
indefinitely, as far as we know. So now you couple all of that together, and now with certain implications, there's the possibility. This is purely speculation, but from a business perspective, there's a possibility that these prices go up even further.
Yeah.
What do you think happens next?
Oh. I mean, because you're talking about like the target audience for this. It's going to be it's going to be children, kids, and there and like I remember you mentioned this last week on the podcast because you were talking about like Microsoft potentially getting out of the console
Mm-hmm.
business and how like Nintendo and Darren, you had an excellent point about how Nintendo like they're like we're not about the power trying to match you in power. We're about the nuance of like casual bringing the family together.
The experience.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see families being like 90 80 $90 just for the game and then having to top on uh, another 450 plus tax for the console. It's like, yeah, I think you're gonna have the group. You're gonna have the people that are just like, I'm not gonna pay that much. You're gonna have the people that's like, I'm gonna pay it because I want it.
I'm not gonna like it though.
You're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it, but you're gonna do it anyway because you want it. And yeah, and then there's just the majority of the people are going to be like, I'm just going to wait until pricing because inevitably all these consoles they're going to drop their price.
Have you
the
looked
thing
at the
about
price of a
Nintendo.
Switch right now?
The
What
thing
like
about
which Switch, like the basic Switch?
the Switch OLED is $350.
This basic Switch is still $300.
Yeah, so the thing about Nintendo, and this is why it's such a big deal that it's Nintendo doing it, is Nintendo doesn't drop prices. They don't lower their games. It doesn't matter how old their games are. It doesn't matter what generation it's on. If anything, older generation games get more expensive. If you look at certain GameCube games, you're paying so much money for those. And like
Now, okay, so this is your basic. It's going to be kind of like basic supply demand, where if people are just like, I'm not going to pay that, like you get enough people to just not do that, where it kind of hurts their bottom line. Because I mean, honestly, that's what they're all about. That's what they're all about. You'll see the price drop because they're like, yeah, we're not pushing as much as we were expected.
I mean, Sony did that with the PS3 when it was 600. People were angry and didn't buy it, and they lowered it not too long after. I think it wasn't too
With a
long
bigger
after.
hard drive.
Yeah, and the last thing that really just drives home what Nintendo is doing, they showed this thing called Switch
Test
World
something?
Tour, Test World.
Test? Is it test drive?
No, it was Switch to Tech. It was called Welcome Tour. There we go. So Switch to Welcome Tour, and what it is it's basically like an owner's manual, an interactable game that's an owner's manual. But that's all it is. It's like, oh, the Switch 2 has magnetized Joy-Cons. Here's how you unplug the Joy-Con and go, and it's like you're walking around the Joy-Con as this little avatar and interacting with things that tell you. Were you familiar with Nintendo Land for the Wii U or Wii Sports for the Wii or Astro's Playroom for the PS5?
I was
What
just
do all
going to
those
bring
have in
up
common,
Astro. Yeah, I was just going to. They all came free with the game.
You're correct.
System.
This one doesn't. You have to pay for it.
Wow. Oh, God.
Have they released the price yet?
I don't care if it's $1. You are charging people for an owner's manual that could be a PDF.
Yes. That I like literally as soon as you said that I was like that's Astrobot from the PS5.
Astro's Playroom was a full-on game.
Astro Playroom, yes, was full-on game, and it was like it taught you about
And it was fun.
And it was fun. Yeah.
And it was a love letter to old PlayStation IPs and current PlayStation IPs. It was a love letter. This is just like walk around the Joy-Con and learn how the Switch works, but you got to pay for it. What,
And the saddest part of it is, this is easily, and I don't think this is strange to say, this is easily Nintendo's most innovative console.
yes.
It's so cool. One of the things they showed was the Joy-Cons, you can put it down and use it as a mouse. So you can play first-person shooters with a joystick and like mouse control with the other one. So like Metroid Prime 4 is what they showed. That's so cool. For $450 plus $80 to $90 for the game itself. But don't worry, because now they finally have a button that lets you do native in-game chat at
So
like
let's-
10 frames per second with screen sharing.
So according to Game Rant,
Mm.
it looks like the price has potentially been revealed. $6.
I'm not paying $6 for an owner's manual.
Yeah, no way. No, it's inherent. An owner's manual come with whatever you get.
Like,
I
it's
knew
probably gonna
somebody-
come with a manual, but like,
When I was in college, I knew somebody who went and bought a Wii, like just from somebody that they knew, but it didn't have like Wii Sports with it, and they went to a GameStop, and GameStop just handed them Wii Sports
yeah,
for $0.
because what are you gonna charge for Wii Sports, the thing that came with the game?
I mean, it's the best-selling game. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. So I mean,
Do
you
know
could have.
why?
Yeah, because it came with one of the
Because it
best-selling
came with
consoles
the
of all time.
console.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's so strangely tone deaf for Nintendo.
That is.
I don't even know what to make of it, because it's just, this seems so out of pocket.
But it doesn't, only because, like we talked about, this is the only game, like, console developer that just, for whatever reason, they treat it how Disney treats their movies, right? Disney is under the impression that their movies age, like, get better with time, which is why they put them in the Disney vaults and all this other stuff. And Nintendo is just like, we have the games. We have Zelda, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart. These, like, we have the savior of video games in Mario, because in all fairness, Mario kind of is. And so they're sitting there and they're just like, oh, we don't lower our, I don't care if you go to GameStop or wherever, get your game secondhand. No, it's only going to be like $5 cheaper than a brand new copy. So you might as well buy a brand new copy, because then that comes to us, right? So they're sitting there thinking that because they've gotten away with never lowering their prices and people still buying their stuff, they can get away with it. And honestly, they probably will.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. Because again, latest and greatest. People are like, well, I gotta have it.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife. And I
Oh
was
god.
like,
Not only that, they're charging you money to play games you already own upscaled for that console.
in all fairness, PlayStation and Xbox both did that. To get a PS5 upgrade from PS4, you had to pay like $10.
What? No. I can put in my disc of Final Fantasy VII Remake right now into my PS5, and it just lets me download the PS5 version of it for free.
Some games do. Other games, you have to buy an upgrade. Like God of War Valhalla, you had to buy a $10 upgrade. I think Ghost of Tsushima, you had to pay an upgrade.
That's because they didn't release the basic version of it, but no, you could play it on a PS5.
You can play the PS5 version on the PS5 not without upgrading. You had to pay $10.
Did you?
Yeah, certain games I think they gave, but like, yeah, that's not a new practice. I don't know how Xbox works. I think you also had to pay to upgrade, but it was $10. If they're charging $80 for digital, that means you're going to be paying $20 for a Switch 2 version.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheaper than buying the game new again, but it's
But
just...
here's the question. Can you play the Switch 1 version on the Switch 2?
That's
the
why
question.
I was just.
I
gonna
believe
bring
they
that
said
up.
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
because that was going to be the thing that would probably like just make me like, I said nope, because if I already have the game and you're in the, and let's put it this way, your same model line, it's Switch to same model line. Why do I need to rebuy the game if I have it for Switch? I should just be able to pop it in the Switch. It should be compatible.
And you
should just
can.
be-
What they said is that it won't have any of the Switch 2 features, which, like, obviously, of course.
I mean,
But it's just so odd to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. And the problem is, Nintendo has built a lot of trust over the years. I mean, look how long it supported the Wii. The Switch is one of the best-selling consoles, I believe, of all time at this point. I think the only
Has it passed PS2?
PS2
no.
is still the all-time selling.
Is PS2 the all-time? I thought the DS was.
PS2 is the all-time
PS2.
selling.
I don't think the Switch has quite passed the DS, but I do believe it is Nintendo's second best-selling console of all time.
Sure.
And so they've made a more innovative one. Like, I honestly, I'm not even mad about the price of the console, because it's just, it's a 4K console. The handheld mode is in 1080p that you can get 120 frames per second out of. Like, I'm not that mad about the console itself, but games, Nintendo games being $80 hurts,
It's a precedent that we don't want.
because you know what Rockstar's gonna do.
Yeah. I was just
And
gonna
they
say, like,
should, considering people have waited, what, it's been 15 years?
Three
2013.
console generations.
2013 was Grand Theft Auto 5.
So 12 years.
12 years. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, 3 console generations. That game is almost as old as Skyrim.
Yeah.
If anybody could get away with charging $80 for a game, it would have been Rockstar.
Yeah.
But now, they look at that, oh, well, if you can charge $80 for Mario, if you can charge $90 for Mario Kart, all of a sudden, if you want the online compatible version of GTA, because why not?
Yeah.
Online compatible GTA 6, $120. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
close to that.
I said, Grand Theft Auto is my all-time series. I will pay whatever to get Grand Theft Auto.
see. It's one of those things where, like, to play devil's advocate a little bit, games have gone up in production prices, but haven't really increased crazy amounts in purchase prices. Because you have to think, there were certain games on 64 that were like $60, $70. But the average game on Nintendo 64 was like $50. And then the generation after that, I think, is when it went up to, I think it went up to 60 for PS3.
Yeah, PS3 and 360.
That generation.
And
yeah.
so it was 2 generations of $60. And then only just now, this generation, certain games are $70. So over the course of like 20 years, games have only gone up like $20.
Yeah.
Like, it's, now, I want games to be what they are. Don't get me wrong. But, like, to sit there and think of how much game development has increased in cost, and the price of games hasn't really gone up that much, there are certain games that, like, maybe could get away with it. Like you said, GTA 6. There's so much budget going into that. It's gonna be one of the biggest games of all time.
Yeah.
If not the biggest.
Can I devil's advocate your devil's advocate?
By all means.
2 of the most popular games right now. 3. Let's go 3. 3 of the most popular games right now. Marvel Rivals, Fortnite,
Yeah.
Roblox.
Uh-huh.
How much would you spend to get all of them right now?
But the reason they're as popular is because their kids are playing them. Maybe not Marvel Rivals, but, like, it's free, so more people are going to play a game that's free. That's why it's popular. And them playing a free game means that the developers get more money, because kids are putting money into Fortnite because of microtransactions and Roblox and all those other stuff. So they're getting money from microtransactions.
Sure. How much do those games cost?
They're free. What's the point?
So, with Mario Kart, is there going to be DLC?
I would assume so.
Of course, there always is.
Yeah.
More tracks, more everything. It's just what they've done. Like, let's say this is the same situation with, like, Smash. $80 digital, $90 Smash. Do we really sit here and think that they're not going to sell more characters after? So the difference between, like, microtransactions are microtransactions, whereas full-scale, full-budget games are also using the idea of a microtransaction. They're just charging slightly more money and calling it DLC instead. But semantically speaking, you're paying more money to get more mileage out of the game you already have. Most of it's cosmetic with a couple tweaks. Right? Sometimes not, certainly not always, but sometimes so.
Yeah, but you can't compare their production budget though, or the development budget at all. They're not even
I
in
mean,
the same
sure.
stratosphere. 'Cause
Sure.
GTA 6,
But we also
their
know that they're
development budget-
firing more people and not paying anyone either.
It's a rumor. Let me see if I can find the if there's any.
I can't imagine we'll know anything about that.
Probably not.
Nothing substantive.
It's a leak, so that's not reliable. What was GTA 5's budget? $265 million.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite, if this is to be believed, according to Medium.
Well, are you looking at what Fortnite was supposed to be, or the version of it they actually released?
When it was first released, its cost to develop was around $20 million.
Yeah, it was an indie
GTA
game.
5 cost 10 times more.
Mm-hmm. So are
And
you saying the
GTA
game should
6
have
is
cost
going
10
to
times
be-
more?
No, I'm saying that you can't compare Fortnite and Rivals and Roblox to GTA 6. That's my point. There's a lot of money going into this game. It's going to have, hopefully, an incredibly high budget and quality. Granted, am I saying that you can't make games for cheaper? No. What I am saying is that the amount of, hopefully, love and care that's going into GTA 6,
Yeah. Well, 12 years. Hopefully
if there
so.
was a, like, we just have to hope it doesn't end up like Kingdom Hearts 3. All right? We don't want another Kingdom Hearts 3 situation.
That would be, that would break my heart if this game is just really, honestly, with the amount of time they had, and I'm pretty sure they've definitely gone above 265 million for this one.
Oh, yeah.
That if it's just a retread of Grand Theft Auto 5, that's gonna really break my heart.
Gotta hope not, man.
Oh, I can't imagine that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
With how long they've spent on it,
That's more.
I mean, to an extent, the formula is the formula, right? So, I mean, how many
Yeah.
different ways can you do
Yeah.
the same thing? But I don't think you have to worry about that. If anything, Rockstar has shown that it is one of the few bastions of good quality games implicitly. Like, it's not a surprise when they make a good game. We'd be more surprised if they made a bad game at this point.
Hey,
I mean, people are still playing Red Dead Redemption 2 to this day.
I was just gonna say I've never had any thought for westerns until as soon as I played Red Dead Redemption, I was like, I could watch a western movie now. Like, I'm like, hey,
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think we have to worry about GTA. And honestly, in a lot of ways, we probably don't have to worry about the quality of the Nintendo games that we're
No.
talking about now that
Unless
spawned
it's
this whole conversation.
Mario Strikers.
Unless it's Super Mario Strikers. That's
Mario Strikers
That
on the
was
Switch
sad.
was so sad.
so sad.
And Scarlet and Violet's quality, but we don't talk about that.
Scarlet and Violet had great quality. They were just buggy messes. And I put that that's more a Game Freak problem than a Nintendo problem. Nintendo gave them the power. Nintendo's first party games with the same technology and power made Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the same console. So that is a Game Freak problem. That is not a Nintendo problem.
That's fair. That's fair. But
That is a soapbox for me for another time.
in lieu of our rambling, we will wrap it up here. I hope everybody enjoyed our first Convince Me versus. Next time, we will be going back to a regular episode. We will be doing Convince Me regular, and I will be convincing Darren and you guys to play Atomfall by Rebellion Games, who are best known for their Sniper Elite series.
And I will be attempting to convince everybody to play Flintlock Siege of Dawn by A44 Games, whose only other game is Ashen. It is a game I have not played, but I do believe it is also available on Games Pass.
I'm pretty sure it is. Roth, I just want to thank you for being here and being our guinea pig, so to speak, because we didn't know how this was going to go. We didn't know what this was going to be, but I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah.
nice having an extra set of ears and another another perspective on certain things. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Uh, oh no, I thank you, gentlemen, for having me. I did have a blast. It's just great, just talking video games. You know, it's just one of those things like when you have a passion and just being able to talk with other people that share your passion is a great. It's amazing.
It is. It is
Yeah.
indeed. Well, we hope you all enjoyed. And with that said, thank you for listening. We appreciate every set of ears that comes our way. If you would like to find us on our social media, they're at the bottom. If you're listening, they are. I need to link them on our Spotify page, and you can find us on YouTube, Instagram. If you just search "Convince Me Gaming," we'll pop up. And thank you all for being here. Please remember to subscribe, follow, and do all the things. And with that said, are you convinced yet?